jobs stress you out. Careers aren't always certain. Loving your work doesn't guarantee success. Even if you succeed, it doesn't mean you're doing what you truly love. So how can you build a fulfilling life while making a living? I asked this question to Gurcharan Das, former CEO of Procter Gamble India and Managing Director of Procter Gamble Worldwide, and a famous author now.
Well, to some extent, it is inertia. To some extent, we sleepwalk through life. We don't live life consciously. Imagine if I thought I was going to die tomorrow. Would I spend my time doing what I'm doing just now? It's a bit like what Seneca says. He says, while I was busy, life passed me by.
Gurcharan Das is a man fired up with purpose and passion. He's the person to talk to if you want to turn your passion into a fulfilling career and life. He found his love for writing while studying philosophy at Harvard on a scholarship and went on to publish popular dramas and bestsellers. His novel, A Fine Family, became a sensation, and Shyam Benegal wanted to turn it into a movie. Gurcharan Das found joy in writing during his off time from his corporate job at Procter Gamble. His friends spent their weekends playing golf, while Das would write from 5:30 in the morning until noon. This is a routine he still follows. Coming from a middle-class family, his mom always reminded him to focus on earning a living. But his dad, his role model, taught him that life had more to offer than just making money.
When I was 4 years old, I was in kindergarten. And I came home one day at the end of the school with a report card. I running home, and I gave it to my mother. And she asked me, "Did you stand first?" And my father was behind her, and he said to her, that was the wrong question. Now, what was going on? My mother was concerned about my making a living one day. We were from a middle-class family, and she knew that I had to work hard, get into a good school, a good college, a good job, and I would have to stand first. But in her way, I'd have to do well. But my father, he pricked the balloon, and he reminded both her and me that there's more to making a living.
When he was 50, at the peak of his career, Das did something bold. He retired early to pursue his writing passion. This change from just making a living to creating a meaningful life marked the start of his second career. Balancing work and life takes courage, plus the right skills, and not everyone is ready to take that big step. Here are 4 important skills that Das recommends. The number 1 is to keep a journal.
And one of the ways I have found to live life consciously is to keep a diary. I'm right now writing my autobiography, my memoir, and my mother kept a diary. And I go back to her diary and I discover a lot about my life. And so I feel, there are in the Upanishads, if you read the Upanishads, there's a story of 2 birds on a tree. And one is eating the fruit and the other bird is watching the one eating the fruit. Well, there is inside us, in our head, in our mind, those two voices. One is the one that's acting, and the other one is saying, "You silly fellow, why did you do that? Why did you say that to this person? That wasn't necessary." So we're always judging ourselves also. So the important thing is to be conscious. Human beings are unique because we are conscious, not only conscious, but we are also conscious that we are conscious.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Writing down your thoughts and experiences in a journal can help you understand yourself much better, grow as a person, and make clear decisions. It can also help you find out what you're truly passionate about. Number 2 is to read and upskill. Find what you love and get better at it. Learning opens doors and brings satisfaction beyond measure. When your passion meets your expertise, you avoid empty chatter.
I was 16 and a half years old, going on 17, and at the airport, Palam Airport, my mother had tears in her eyes when I was leaving, and she reminded me, remember to study something useful. You have to make a living. So I arrived at Harvard, and within weeks, I forgot about what my mother had said, but instead I got caught in the romance of a liberal education. So what is that? Because that liberal education contributed to my making a life. And for example, I studied Greek tragedy. I studied the Russian novel. I studied Renaissance painting. I studied the music of Beethoven. And I studied, I knew that we had poor people in India. So I studied economics to see how to make the poor rich. And so what I'm trying to say is that all this also gave me a romance of books that you see. Many of these books are from my college days. And so the fact is that a liberal education nourishes inquiry, nourishes curiosity. What Kamble was all about. Childish curiosity. You know what a child is? Child jumps into the puddle in the middle of the rain, while the older people, all with their umbrellas, go around the puddle. So that sort of that love for life is what is important. And I have nothing against engineering. My father was an engineer. We had doctors in the family. But when it comes to making a life, I think that romance of the humanity, reading, and not just course books, but all books in all areas, helps in making a life. And when you read a book, you don't just take the book in, you interrogate it, you question. So if you see a lot of these books, they're lines on the paper, and then they're saying saying I don't agree on the margin. That is questioning a book. Questioning even the great writers.
The third one is to be focused. Managing your time well is the key. Tune out distractions and focus on what's most important. Prioritize your work based on what's most important, and you'll see that focused quality time leads to better productivity and work-life balance.
That ever since I discovered that I enjoyed writing, I find that writing is no longer work. At 5:30 in the morning, I'm pulled from my bedroom, which is behind this room, and I'm pulled to my study, which is across the hall from my bedroom. I just go straight on there. I don't take any risks at that point. In other words, I don't look at my email when I get to my desk. I don't look at WhatsApp. I don't do yoga, all the things they tell you to do. I don't go for a walk, which is what they say a healthy person should do. I don't read the newspaper, because all these things put you on someone else's agenda.
Wow.
You want to stay on your own agenda. And your agenda right now is my book that I'm writing. And so, but because I like doing what I'm doing,
The next one is to make mindful choices. Take a pause and think before you make decisions. Consider your long-term goals, personal values, and what truly makes you happy. When your choices match your dreams, you set yourself up for a meaningful and balanced life. In short, striking a work-life balance is tough in today's busy world. Das followed his passion for writing alongside his corporate job. At the top of his career, he made a brave decision to retire early and follow his passion. This shift highlighted the importance of 4 key skills: keeping a journal, constant learning, focus, and mindful choices. By using these skills, you can also build a meaningful and balanced life. It takes courage to follow your passions and find happiness, but the rewards are worth it. Remember, a work-life balance is about consciously building a life where you can thrive personally and professionally. Happy balancing.